If you're a brewery owner or somebody who's involved in the advertising or marketing of a brewery with a tap room, we have to be honest about something. Your brewery's success or failure hinges on the traffic you generate. And if you're making social media posts and looking out the window, wondering where everybody is, this video's for you. I'm going to be sharing something that 99% of breweries are not doing, and it's the single best way I know of to generate customer traffic. And in fact, I'm pretty confident it is first and foremost the very best way to generate traffic. And if you implement this, your customer traffic will increase in just a couple of weeks. The first two parts of this you might have heard about, or perhaps you're even doing it. But the third thing is something that's going to floor you. I'm going to talk about what's next, how AI is changing how people will find entertainment and food and drink options. And the tactics I'm going to share with you will be even stronger as AI takes over search. And that is exactly what's going to happen. Let's dive in. There's three parts to what I'm going to be covering today: the discovery portion, the guide portion, and then the domination portion. We're going to run through these things. It's going to be something easy you're going to be able to put into place. You're going to know exactly how and what to do going forward. Let's start with the discovery part. This is pretty basic. I'm not breaking new ground here. Won't spend a lot of time on it, but the first and third biggest search engines right now are Google and Bing. Number two, you might ask, is the one you're watching me on right now, YouTube. But when we think about folks who go, gosh, I want to go out today and drink some craft beer. I want to go out today and have my teeth cleaned. Whatever folks are thinking about doing, they're going to search in one of these two areas. Now, Google, far and away number one for those. I'm sure everybody watching this has Google search something, and a lot of us do it maybe every single day. But Bing here is one of the little secrets I'm going to let you in on. Bing is going to grow and become more and more and more powerful because ChatGPT uses Bing. We're going to talk about how to rank as high as possible in Google and Bing. And this is that discovery phase. Because what you need to do, you need to guide Google and Bing. Now, when we talk about guide, the way we guide the search engines is through our content and what's called our NAP. The content is what it is you do, what you have to offer. As a brewery, you're going to tell folks about your beer. I mean, this is all common sense stuff, but hang with me because it's going to become super powerful. So you've got your content, and that lets Google or Bing know exactly what it is you have to offer folks. And you also want to make sure you have your NAP, which is your name, address, and phone number. And that needs to be consistent. And I mean exactly the same. If you're Trips Brewing LLC, if you want that LLC, if you put it in one place, it needs to be every place, because it's very important not to confuse the search engines. And so your name is exactly the same. Your address, meaning if you're on Main Street, do you abbreviate street or do you spell it out? You got to pick and make sure it's consistent everywhere, as well as, of course, your phone number. That probably won't look different. But make sure your NAP is 100% consistent, and anywhere it needs to be changes, make sure you do. Because again, you want to guide them. And the best guide is clear and direct, and make sure it gets the point across. There's no confusion. Now, these things I'm talking about, I'm sure you're doing some, if not all of those. You may have to probably, my guess would be, take a look at your content, make sure that's up to date. A lot of breweries don't do that. Trust me, I look at their websites. And then obviously that name, address, and phone number, super specific. A lot of places make that mistake as well. And listen, I get it. You guys aren't marketers. So in addition to helping you out in this video, what I want to do for you is I have a complete marketing guide for breweries to help you. Go ahead right now and put brewer in the comments, and I'll make sure you get a copy of that. And I'm going to send it to you absolutely free. But now, getting back to what we're talking about here, the guide element, the better you can guide them, the closer you're going to get to dominating. And the way you need to put your content together now is much different than it has been pretty much the way websites operated from the beginning. There's always been an evolution, but now we're going to see a rapid change. And that's tied to AI and the way the algorithms are working now on these search engines. And let's move your content to match what AI wants. And we're going to talk about now how to do that, and so you can dominate. Well, to some degree, all breweries got that content, their NAP, on their websites. Here's what nobody's doing. Now, it's tied to your beer and your food and how you list them. In fact, any product that you sell, how you produce and list it. And it's tied to having individual pages. A lot of breweries, you might be the same one. You've got one web page and you're listing all the beers that you have on sale now. So if somebody wants to know what you have, they click on that. Sometimes you even call it your menu. So it have your beer, your food, and any other things you might sell, non-alcoholic options, etc. Not saying there's anything wrong with that. But here's the thing. Again, remember, we need discovery and guide. What we want to do for the search engines is have an individual page about every single beer that you make. I'm going to concentrate on beer, and this is going to apply to food and everything else. So you can have, if you'd like, an overview page, but for, let's say, you produce 5 Pilsners. You may list all 5 and then have a hyperlink, but you're going to have a separate page for each and every one. You're going to talk about trying to create the best of what that is, the specific type of Pilsner. So if you produce 10 different beers, you're going to have 10 different beer pages. And let me explain to you why you're going to do this and where the power of it is tied to that discovery and guide. Let's talk about Bing and Chat GPT. But Gemini and however Google's going to evolve, they're going to be doing the same thing. Instead of people searching craft beer near me or craft beer insert a town or city, the way people are going to search as they get used to using Chat GPT, getting used to using AI, is being very specific. I'm looking for a Czech Pilsner beer near me. You see the difference? People are more specific using Chat GPT because the power of AI produces a much more accurate and much more detailed search result for them. So being specific in your search, and if you have an individual page about, in this situation, a Czech Pilsner, other breweries around you don't have that. So what happens? You move to the top of that search. Do you see the power of this? I mean, this is where it's going, and this is where you need to be. You want to be ahead of the curve, and this will put you there. So you do that same thing, your beer, your food, and anything else that you might sell, all your different products. Now, if you're saying to me, hey, Trip, this is way too much work, it's really not. Because let me ask you something. If you were able to come up number 1 in the searches for every single thing that you happen to sell because you created an individual page, you know what you've just done? You've maximized the number of customers that you could possibly have in your business. Let me ask you something. Could maybe an hour or 2 a month be worth making sure you are in that position? I'd say yeah. So that's what this actually does. I've seen data, I've seen this tested, and I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. It absolutely works. And as more and more people use AI, as they get used to how they inquire things and how they ask AI for results, that's going to transfer into how they search for where they might want to go and get their next craft beer. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the secret. This is what you need to do yesterday in your business. And I don't know how much time it's going to take, and it's not a lot. Especially you can outsource this, but you want to make sure each individual page has the right content explaining exactly what that beer is, and make sure your name, address, and phone number is on that page. Now you've allowed people to discover the beer, explains the beer, and tells them where to get it. Search engines like that. That's pretty straightforward. Can you see the power of this? This is the next wave. How you can be the craft brewery in your area and dominate and maximize your revenue. I think it's safe to say 99%, almost 100% of breweries are not doing this, but you're going to do this and you're going to put yourself ahead of everybody. And that's beer and restaurants in your area. So the simple steps to make sure you're number one in the discovery phase, Google and Bing, is to have a content page for every single different beer, food option, or anything else you sell, and make sure you've got your name, address, and phone number properly put in there. And the better the content, the better the search. So you've got a reason why and a story behind each and every beer, put it in there, as well as being very descriptive of what each and every beer is. So this will allow you're going to list a separate page for each and every one. If you'd like to have a overview page so folks can kind of drill down, no problem. You can go ahead and do that. But make sure for each and every option, you have an individual page, any product that you want to sell and make money with. Now that you're maximizing the number of folks who are coming into your brewery, what's the next step? Simply put, you want to turn as many of those folks who are visiting you that first time into what? Regulars. That's the next step in being as dominant and generating as much revenue for your brewery as possible. And how you're going to do that, I explain it all right here in this video. Because the key thing is to get folks to come into your brewery the third time. And this is, I give you multiple ways to make sure that happens. Because in this video, I'm going to explain, this is how you turn 75% of the people who walk in your doors for the first time into regulars. This is a powerful video. I'll see you over there.